안녕하세요. 우리 팟캐스트에 오신 걸 환영합니다. I don't know what number podcast this is. What do you think? Like 10, maybe? 9?
9.
9-ish?
About 9.
Welcome to the 9-ish podcast. This is my friend Ben.
Hey.
He's from England, and I'm from Michael from EnglishandKorean.com. That's where I hail from.
Yeah, hail from the internet.
That's right. Born and raised on the internet. We are going to start today with a conversation about 벚꽃놀이. Okay, so 지금 그 벚꽃 축제 지금 열풍이잖아요. 지금 그 한창인데 미국에서도 비슷한 행사 있습니다. Okay, we have a similar event in America. It's called the National Cherry Blossom Festival, and we're going to discuss that a little bit. So, have you ever been to the Yeouido Cherry Blossom Festival?
In almost 4 years of living in Korea? No, I haven't. Oh, no,
it's a shame.
I'm deeply embarrassed about that fact.
It is.
I always wanted to go.
You should be embarrassed.
I never had a girl to take along.
Wow. Well, that's not what I heard. That's not what I heard the reason was, but anyway. Yeah, I've been 3 times in 8 years. But not because I don't love flowers. I love flowers just as much as the next guy. But I don't love crowds.
This is what I got told. There's so many people there that it's not actually a very nice experience.
It depends. I went at 2:30 in the morning, and it was okay. I mean, there were less people. And it depends on when you go. If you can avoid the crowds, it's usually okay. We have an expression in English that is agoraphobic, which means fear of crowds and actually public spaces. This agora comes from the Greek word for market. 시장이라는 의미입니다. 그리고 여기 뒤에 있는 phobia 붙어 있는 단어 보면은 다 공포증, 무슨 공포증. So for example, agoraphobic means fear of public spaces, fear of the market, fear of a lot of people. Okay, so sometimes there's people like that, right?
People who don't like going outside. They don't like leaving their house.
Right. But we aren't that bad.
No, certainly not.
I have those tendencies, but not quite that bad. Right. So do you think it's maybe too late to make it to the Cherry Blossom Festival this year?
Yeah, I think I'll probably miss it. But when I was in Busan a couple of weeks ago, I saw lots of cherry blossoms there, up on the mountain, and it was very, very beautiful.
Yeah, even if you don't go to the festival, you can still see them all over Seoul, right?
Yeah.
So that's always nice. And do you have anything like that in England? Like any festivals related to a blossoming flower? 지금 피고 있다, 핀다 이런 단어, 이런 동사 영어로 blooming이라고 해요. 지금 blossoming, blooming이라고 하시면 돼요. So do you have any flowers that are blooming?
Flowers, I mean, the traditional flower of spring is the daffodil, which is a yellow, bright yellow, almost tulip kind of looking at some points, I guess. It's the national flower of Wales.
Oh, really?
But every spring then you just see great swathes of daffodils, and you know spring has come, and the weather's going to turn and get nice, and it lifts everybody's mood.
Yeah, that's nice. And here in Seoul, we have different colored, an array of cherry blossoms. There's the white colored and the pink and more reddish looking ones. And that's always nice, that spectrum of colors.
Yeah.
And Namsan always looks so beautiful from a distance. When you look and you see all of a sudden, it goes from being completely barren, just nothing, just grays and brown colors, to all of a sudden, all these purples and pinks, and it's really beautiful.
Full of color, yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, let's discuss some vocab that I wrote that's associated with this. This is discussing the history of the Cherry Blossom Festival in the United States. And it originated when the mayor of Tokyo at the time, at the turn of the century, sent a friendship gift of 2,000 cherry blossom trees to America. Okay, so 아마 1910년쯤에 도쿄 시장이 친교 선물로 미국 그 수도인 워싱턴 DC로 이렇게 그 벚꽃 나무 한 2,000 그루 정도 보냈어요. Okay, so 그렇게 유래된 거예요. 그 축제 미국에서 하는 비슷한 행사 그렇게 비롯됐습니다. So this is the story of that. But the first shipment was, it turned out, infested with beetles and other pests.
Oh.
Right, so those bugs, 해충, pests이라고 하시면 돼요. And infested is 들끓고 있는 or 만연하는. So a lot of pests.
Yeah.
So there were some dangerous pests in the trees. So unfortunately they had to burn them all. So that was pretty sad. They sent 2,000 beautiful cherry blossom trees from Tokyo and they all had to be burned. So
2,000?
Yeah, that's a sad story. That was kind of maybe a sign of things to come, though, in Tokyo-U.S. relations. But again, they tried in 1912, and they sent a second shipment. And the second shipment of trees was clear of any pests, and they went ahead and planted those around the Potomac River, which flows nearby Washington, D.C. And from that point on, Washington, D.C. was associated with the cherry blossoms in the U.S. More than any other city. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen cherry blossoms in any other city. But the U.S. District of Columbia, D.C. is very famous for that. So let's look at some of the words that are associated here with this. Why don't you read the first one?
To MC an event.
Right. So this MC, okay. 사회를 서다 진행 맡고 있는 거, right? MC 다 아시죠? Okay, it comes from Master of Ceremonies였어요 원래. 그거 약자예요. Master of Ceremonies. Okay, 근데 지금 동사형도 생겼어요. To MC an event. So for example, I was MCing a wedding reception. Okay, 결혼식 하고 나서 우리 다 같이 하는 파티 있어요. 그거는 wedding reception이라고 해요. 근데 거기서 만약 이렇게 사회 섰으면은 I was the MC, I emceed that event 이라고 하시면 돼요. Okay? So have you ever emceed an event, Ben?
Work functions.
Seoul's baddest MC over here.
Yes.
That's his nickname.
I'm not a rapper. I'm not an MC kind of rapper.
Getting funky on the mic.
But no, I've never really had the opportunity other than at work.
Well, you're partially emceeing this podcast,
yeah, I suppose so.
Congratulations.
It's fun.
All right, yeah. Have I ever emceed anything? Not really, but I was in charge of this mixer. I was emceeing this party, this international party, and you were supposed to be there. Ben was scheduled. He was on the docket. You were on the VIP list, but he didn't show up. Okay, so 나오겠다고 해놓고 안 나오는 거 didn't show up이라고 하시면 돼요. Okay, no show.
No show.
He was a no show.
I was a no show. My bad.
Yeah, you're bad. Alright, so mixer, we use that to mean party. That can mean a party, a social gathering, 모임. Okay, mixer이라고 해요. 사람들이 이렇게 섞어서 같이 노니까. So an international mixer would be people from different countries gathering together. Do you sometimes use the word mixer for party in England?
For a mixer, generally we would use it talking about
alcohol. Right. 그것도 믹서입니다. Okay, when you're talking about making a mixed drink, right, you mix some kind of alcohol with
vodka and orange.
Right, and that's called a mixer. And 그 술 이야기 나온 김에, since you've mentioned alcohol, you know what a chaser? Do you use chasers?
Yeah, we use chasers.
Right, so a chaser is when you drink something really strong like whiskey, and then you follow it up with what?
I don't know. I chase soju with beer.
Beer. Okay, a lighter drink.
Yeah, to take the taste.
The edge off of it. So 정말 독한 술 먹었을 때 그 다음에 더 부드러운 음료수 마실 때 그 두 번째 거 chaser이라고 합니다. Okay, 추격자이라는 의미 아닙니다. That's why I thought it was a little strange when for that movie that came out last year they went with the title The Chaser. I thought that was kind of a mistranslation because when we think the word chaser, we think of 술 마실 때 독한 거 마시고 나서 바로 그 좀 약한 거 마시는 거 그건 chaser이라고 해요. That's what I thought when I heard of that.
It was a good movie.
It was a good movie. The title was a little iffy, but
very violent.
But, you like that violent?
No, not that kind of violence. But,
yeah. What else? Not that there's necessarily a better way to translate them. The pursuer. The follower.
The follower, stalker.
The stalker, that's a good one. We should recommend that next time. Yeah, so chaser in English means a kind of like, some people chase things with milk though, don't they?
Yeah.
Sometimes. Anyway, that's a chaser. Okay, can you read the next one?
To come up with.
Okay, 이거 진짜 많이 쓰는 동사구입니다. Right? This is probably one of the most common phrasal verbs in English. To come up with. Okay, 생각해내다. So for example, 계획 세워봐요. Can you come up with a plan? Can you come up with some new ideas? Okay, I don't like these ideas. Try to come up with something new. Okay, can you come up with a new name? I wasn't able to come up with a Korean name for Ben.
Yeah.
그런 식으로 쓰시면 돼요.
You couldn't come up with anything?
No, I'm still working on it.
I can't come up with anything either.
I have your nicknames.
Benjamin.
That's a good one. We'll have to come up with some Chinese characters for that.
Honggil-dong.
Oh yeah? That's
Yeah.
what you're gonna... Okay. Alright, beautiful. Alright, so next, giveaway. 이렇게 경품. So this is a noun, and you can say we're having a gift giveaway or a product giveaway like that. Alright, next.
Prompted by.
Alright, so 어디에 자극 받아서. Okay, it's similar to 유의어 is I was inspired by. Okay, I was inspired by. 그 계기로 제가 시작하게 됐어요. So I was prompted by his statement. I was prompted by his statement to begin to commence a deeper introspection of myself. Isn't that beautiful?
It is beautiful.
Okay, so next, counterpart. So 1대1 해당되는 사람일 수도 있고 행사일 수도 있어요. So when we talk about the Cherry Blossom Festival in Yeouido, we can say its counterpart in the US. Okay, 유사한, 비슷한 그런 의미입니다. Alright, next.
Not unheard of.
Alright, so if something is unheard of, that means 상상하지도 못하는 일입니다. So 정말 드문 일이에요. But not unheard of means 그리 드물지 않은 일. So something can be unheard of or not unheard of.
I mean, it's not unheard of for me to go and have a drink.
That's
on the
right.
Weekend.
That's right. To hit the pub.
Yeah.
It's not unheard of for Ben to have a pint of beer after work.
Yes.
Okay. Alright. Next, amity. So 친교, 친선, 우호 관계 그런 의미입니다. So 근데 반대어 is enmity. 근데 거의 비슷하잖아요. amity하고 enmity. 근데 정반대인데 발음이 좀 비슷해요. 근데 다행인 건 거의 잘 안 쓰는 단어들입니다. 정말 최고급 어휘예요. So amity or enmity, people don't really use those words very often. Okay.
No, they're not generally in everyday speech.
No, if you're writing an article or writing an essay, you might want to use it. Okay, feelings of amity, feelings of enmity. 그런 식으로 쓰시면 돼요. All right, next, chagrin. To your chagrin.
To my chagrin, yes.
What has anything happened to your chagrin lately? Yeah, a lot of things, in fact.
A lot of things that I'm not going to go into.
We're not
right
going to
now.
get into that. A lot has happened to your chagrin.
Yes.
Okay, so chagrin이라고 하면은 정말 이렇게 유감스럽게 보는 거예요. Okay, 정말 후회하게 됐고 정말 안 됐던 일에 대해서 얘기할 때. 그래서 we can say 원통함, but we always say to his chagrin or to my chagrin. Okay? 그거는 더 많이 써요. I was chagrined보다 to my chagrin이라고 많이 써요. So in this case, the US and everybody involved, to their chagrin, they had to burn the trees. They had to dispose of 2,000 trees by fire to everyone's chagrin, right? Okay. And next, infested. So when something is kind of covered in something else. So let's say 무슨 바퀴벌레 엄청 많은 집 뚫고 있는 집으로 갔어요. Then you could say the refrigerator was infested with cockroaches.
Yeah.
Or whatever, right? The apartment was infested with termites or with cockroaches, like that. All right, and next.
False start.
Right, a false start is 잘못된 시작. Okay, 처음부터 시작하자마자 좌절하는 거, 실패하는 거. That's a false start. So sometimes we use it in the Olympics, like when one runner starts too soon.
Goes before the gun.
Right, and that's called a false start. But also, you started some project and let's say you failed right off the bat. Okay, you failed from the beginning. That can be called a false start. Okay, so 원점에 돌아가서 다시 시작해야 된다면 you could say back to square one. It's back to square one. Let's try this again. Okay, and to remedy something. Remedy 원래 치료법 그런 의미인데 여기 동사형이에요. 그리고 고친다는 의미예요. Okay, 잘못된 것을 고친다는 거예요. Alright, and next?
Grounds.
Right, so in this case, grounds means 그 주변에 있는 정원, 교정. So the school grounds. So if you work at Yonsei University, you could say there's a small park on the grounds. Okay, 교정 안에 공원 하나 있습니다. And then grounds also has the meaning of 근거. Okay, so for example, 근거 없는 소문. You could say a groundless rumor, right?
Yeah.
A groundless rumor. So, for example, there's continuously rumors that Obama wasn't born in the U.S. And
I think they're groundless.
yeah, the birther movement that just continues on and on for the last... and who really cares anyways? But that's called groundless. Those are called groundless rumors. Okay, 근거 없는 소문 is called a groundless rumor. We don't want to get too political here in the podcast.
No.
I love birthers. I love everybody. But that's an example of a rumor someone might call groundless. Alright, and then...
It's a splendid example.
A splendid example, thank you. So splendid can be 딱 적합한. It can also be 화려한 and 우수한. So in the case of splendid, in this case, I described this event as splendid, which means that it's also resplendent is a 유효, is a synonym. And it means very brilliant. The colors are brilliant and sparkling. Okay, it has that meaning. All right, anything you'd like to add?
No, I mean, I'm just going to make an effort next year to go to Yodo and to see the cherry blossoms in full bloom when it's not too busy, when there's not too many crowds. Cause
I will drag you there. We'll take a taxi. We'll go over there. We'll get like haitu picho. And like 2 or 3 in the morning when nobody's there, we'll just enjoy the blossoms and sit by the hangang, and we'll have a splendid time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for stopping by the podcast, and we will see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Okay.